Hello, my name is Bill Haley, and this is for Haley 2024, the Movement's Government Reform Ideas. Now, this video is going to be on simply the structure of the Constitutional Amendment, creating the structure of the CRA structure, the Competitive Regulatory Agency structure. This new constitution, it's a proposed constitutional amendment, is a full replacement of the current Constitution, and it changes the foundations of government. We're trying to create more liberty and freedom, greater free enterprise, and giving people better representation and giving them what they want in the way that they want to be governed. So socialists can be governed in a more socialist way. Conservatives can be governed more in a conservative way. You get to be governed the way you want to be governed. Now, I have about a 30-minute video on this, simply the structure. This is going to be targeted more of like 8 to 10 minutes. I'm going to go through this rapidly. So let's go through it really rapidly here. Now, we're going to first split up all government power into 30 sectors. We go into a full, we get rid of all government welfare, go to a charity system, and we mandate that roughly 5% of GDP is contributed towards the charity system. We go into a full free enterprise military with a lot of accountability. We have a full accountability sector. Different government leaders for each of the different sectors that you see here. 5 in the violent crime mitigation system. So the definition of violent crime, the law enforcement themselves, a authorization sector that anybody with inherent government power has to be authorized by at least 70% representatives of 70% of the people. The court system, very private sector law enforcement, very private sector prisons, all with different sectors and governed the way in a competitive way. And there's a lot of accountability. Protections of civil liberties are much better within the system than the current system. Here are the other 15 sectors. I'm not going to go through it all right now, but each sector has top level elected leadership per sector. There's no one person over top of more than one of these. So you have a president, a governor, a mayor over top of each of the sectors. A state legislature, so it's 30 state legislatures, 30 city councils, 30 congresses. We divide government into 30 sectors and then give each sector their responsibilities. And then we take each sector and we create roughly 12 different competitive regulatory agencies within each sector. And then you choose how you're going to be governed within the police or insurance or banking or family law. You pick your regulatory agency, you pick your governing agency, and how you want to be represented. So a competitive regulatory agency, they represent, govern, and regulate you. And each one of those are a full governmental system with executive, legislative, and judicial powers. So it's a full system. And only things that really need to go up to the next level of monopolized governance over all of education, or monopolized governance over all of insurance, or all of family law. Very little goes up there. Now, in some areas, they will. Commander-in-chief, foreign diplomats, the authorization boards. They're going to have primary authority at the sector board level because that's a societal oversight role. We'll get into that. But we only have about 7 to 8 to 10 minutes on this video, so already halfway through. Let's just go through some. And then the rating system side, super important. But they don't regulate, they inform. And informing is so important. And the reason you have competitive ratings is because you have different ways to inform. People look at it differently. A conservative and a liberal looks at the world in a different, through different glasses. They really do. They have different endpoints. They have a different way of getting to their endpoints. So a simple rating or monopolized ratings is a very bad idea. Competitive ratings are going to be where it's going to be at. And they have significant power to rate and put rating floors to stop significant negative externalities. So every person, every business, every organization must select a CRA, and an RA in all 30 sectors. And that's going to be at the federal level, the state level, and the local level. It's 180 selections. 60 at the federal, 60 at the state, 60 at the local. Half of them RAs, half of them CRAs. There's a social contract you have to sign to stay an American under my Constitution, under this Constitution, proposed Constitution. So, and that contract is that you have to be a member and pay the membership fees of these CRAs and RAs. No doubt, right now, it's probably about $60,000 per household per year in government taxes. Average. Rich do pay more, poor pay less, but we have roughly about $8 trillion being spent on about a $21 trillion economy out of 110 million households. Yeah, you're looking at $60,000 or so per household in taxes. So that still has to be paid. But it's going to be paid to your CRA. It's going to be divided so much, so not any one person or group of people have that much power. And some places are going to be a lot lower expense, and others will be more expense. We'll get into that on the longer videos. So this is an example of how it could be broken down. And the decimal points go out as far as it needs to, so every membership changes your CRA's percentage. You must be governed. In a CRA, your CRA only governs its members. My neighbor chooses their CRA, and they'll govern them. Just like my company governs me as an employee, my neighbor's employer governs them as an employee. And everybody needs to be governed. Even business owners need to be governed. Everybody has to have a boss, but there's societal oversight over everybody to make sure no boss gets out of control. And the division of responsibilities and authority is so broad with so many checks and balances. So a CRA must have memberships of no more than 20% and at least 5%. Members elect CRA leadership. But if you want to, and they proportionally staff their sector board. The sector board's one step up, and it's monopolized. So the CRA proportionally staffing it is super important. And Sector 25, which is my identity sector, which is a really important sector, is going to ensure all entities are members of a CRA and RA in all 30 sectors in the federal, state, and local CRA structure. They're going to be responsible for ensuring and coordinating CRA fees, tax obligations, and debt repayments. And making sure the money goes to the right place. And Sector 25 will also coordinate all fees in a one-stop system. So they'll probably have a website where you can just click what CRA that you want to join. Then you're governed by them. But it's a one-stop shop. Or Sector 25 can create a one-stop shop, so it makes it a lot easier. Sector 25 would also handle all the elections. We'll get into that more on the longer videos. So here are the 30 sectors. Full government welfare goes away. We go to a full charity system. These are some of the sectors there. Foreign protection system. This is the federal level mostly, and these are the 5 there. Violent crime mitigation system. Here are the 5. Totally free enterprise stuff here, guys. But with anybody with governmental authority, the DAs, the prosecutors, the prison guards, the law enforcement, the judges, they all have to be authorized by representatives of 70% of the people. So they have to do it right. There's a lot of checks and balances within the system. A free enterprise system and capitalism, it's two-sided agreements. It's oversight. There's a lot of controls. But with free enterprise, with a lot of the control is so it doesn't get out of control and only can control negative externalities. So it's not a lot of controls on how they do their business unless they're doing it and creating problems. There's a lot to get into on it, and I'm already over my time limit here. But here's more of the sectors there, finishing up the sectors there. And so you got the top, the parent sector board, they just decide the division of governmental powers going into 30 sectors. You have the sector board, they're over top of the regulations on their sector and ensures their sector's structure. But all the governing happens within the your chosen CRA. And other people get governed by their sector's CRA. And they get their ratings and their philosophy built into their RAs. So, Haley2024.org is where the Constitution is written out. A lot of videos are going to go up between February and March of 2021. This is at the end of February right now of 2021. And I plan on doing a lot of videos, several dozen videos, explaining many aspects of this. I already have a couple overviews up there, and a longer version of this, about 33-minute version of this in another video. Until the next video.